Hey everyone, and welcome to 121 in Flux. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we talk about movies on this show. And it is March 2019, which is notable because it is the month of Detective Comics 1000 and the 80th anniversary of Batman. Therefore, it is Batman month, and we are working through Batman movies. We had Batman already. This is going to be Batman Returns, which was the direct sequel, also directed by Tim Burton, also starring Michael Keaton. Came out in 1992. We will start spoiler free.
Will we?
Will
We
we?
didn't last time.
We didn't last time, yeah. Yeah, it's Batman Returns. You know what it is. It's fine. Full spoilers. But yeah, that's what we're going to do with Batman Returns, which is a movie I can't stand. I hate it with every fibre of my being. It is absolute gobshite.
It is, and I love it. I love how bad it is. I get so much enjoyment out of watching this movie.
There,
Not in a good way.
there's a couple of key moments that I did not remember.
Oh,
That I think, how did this moment make it in? One is when Christopher Walken, who is easily the best part of this whole movie, with
objectively, yeah.
Yeah, with Christopher Walken is convincing Penguin to run for mayor, right? He's in that surprise where he's brought him down and he sees the campaign room and he's
Yeah.
blah, blah. It's after he's like he's eyeing up one of the, it's like the makeover to like specialist that he's got to make his image better.
Yeah.
And Penguin says something really disgusting like, "Oh, I want to get in her void" or something like that. And Christopher Walken leans in and goes, "Hey, if you could be mayor, unlimited poontang." That is a line of dialogue. I did not remember this movie being so blatant with lines like that. And the other thing that I cannot believe this is in a major motion picture. So later on, Batman, Bruce Wayne, to prove to the public that Penguin's not a good guy, right? This is after Penguin's been trying to kill him and, taking over the Batmobile, all that
Do
stuff.
penguin-y things.
Yes. He's at like a press conference, talking about being mayor, about Gotham, and he's getting cheered. And Bruce plays audio recordings of what Penguin said to him in the Batmobile about how the city's full of scum, and I've been playing this city like fiddles and blah blah blah. Right, which is fine. I have no problem with that.
It's a reasonable plan.
The problem I have with this is that they're playing this, for the time, a nice fancy new bit of technology, a compact disc, everyone's favourite medium, right? CD. It's not even that new. CDs were around for a lot of the 80s, but still, CDs.
It's flashy.
It's flashy. At one point, Bruce, for no reason, does a record scratch on a CD. There's problems with this.
What do you want from me?
You cannot record scratch a CD. It will just scratch a CD and make it unusable.
Yeah, it's. I don't think people understand how digital versus analog works. Analog, it's you can control it. Digital is it's on or it's off.
Yes.
So a scratch does not give you any sort of wobbling effect like you can get on a record.
Which it does play the effect in this. We get the little record scratch effect.
Yes, the wobble. A scratch on a CD just gives you a skip. It just goes, oh, there's nothing there. Nothing. Yep. Silence.
I'm just saying, that moment pissed me off.
So I have a question then for you. What's worse for you? That or freezing lasers?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah. That's what we're here for, really, to answer the big questions.
Freezing lasers, if you're not familiar with what we're talking about here, an episode of The Flash, the current TV show, in its second season, had an episode where a cold gun throws a laser beam and there was a line of ice from the laser, as if the laser line itself, which is ridiculous because a laser is light. You can't freeze light. It's not a physical object.
Yet.
Shut up. And that really pissed me off as well. That one might actually be a little bit worse than the CD record scratch, but they're both in a similar genre. They're both in a similar tier of just, this is stupid.
Yeah.
But they're both not quite as bad as Superman 4 when Superman is just talking in space. That is even worse. That is the worst of the worst in terms of, no, screw science. We're not even trying.
But because Superman.
No, that's not a rule. That doesn't work. That's
making it a thing.
No.
Superman 4 tried to make it a thing.
No. So,
Do you know what, though?
yeah.
None of these complaints matter because penguin bombers.
No, shut up. Shut up. Penguin bombers are stupid.
No. Penguin bombers are delightful. You have these cutesy little penguins waddling down the street with bombs strapped to the back.
Obviously.
Fantastic.
If you don't know me well enough, you're probably thinking these are really petty complaints so far. They are. These are not the big complaints I have. These are just a couple of moments that stuck out to me on watching it again now. I have bigger problems that are more, I have a personal thing here where I just don't like Tim Burton movies. I don't like how Tim Burton movies look.
Do you want to know one of the things that, if I've got a petty, stupid, complaint? Because, obviously this is not a good movie, right? But I enjoy it. But petty little things that even when I'm like, yeah, this is fantastically bad, I'm like, really?
Mm-hmm.
It's when Bruce rips off his mask. And it actually rips off at the, what? You can't, you have a way that you can take this off and on. You take it off and on every night.
Yes.
I assume you're not just ripping it to get it off every time.
In fact, do you know what I thought was worse than this one, on the same genre as this, is the stiffness because he can't move his head. I thought every single time he was fighting anyone, it looked terrible.
Yeah, that's fair. But
it looks stupid.
That's like a whole different thing. This one is no. Surely that still has to come off. At least that's a design flaw, but it's a design flaw built into the suit in general. It's not like it's entirely overlooked. Whereas this here, he has to take this off at the end of the night, presumably without destroying it. He's not destroying these every night.
Oh, you even see how he does it at one point. There's a montage of him grabbing all the gear, and the cowl's attached right down to the bit that goes in behind it, because the chest plate. You see it empty, as if that's what clips it on, is the logo.
But surely there's an easier way than literally just rip it, because all I'm seeing now is all any villain has to do is grab the ears and just pull back, and there you go, Bruce Wayne. This seems like a major design flaw to me.
Do you know what's lacking in this movie? I noticed this in multiple scenes. There's multiple times in this movie where someone gets away. The first big one is when Penguin has his umbrella that does a little chopper, right? Which is campy. I'm not going to complain about that so much because, okay, if you want to do a slightly campier Batman, I can get behind that to a point.
Yeah, the umbrella copter's great.
But Batman has to go around and climb a ladder to get up to the roof, and I'm like, where's his freaking grapple gun? He's Batman. He even had it in the last movie. It's not like Tim Burton's not even aware of this.
Very reasonable complaint.
There's multiple scenes in this movie where he has to climb up ladders or whatever to get to a roof, and I'm just thinking...
I mean, Keaton wanted the exercise.
Shut up. I'm just like, where's his grapple gun? This is stupid. And because it's worse again because he looks so stupid moving around because of the head's so stiff. So he's coming up this ladder and his head's just bobbing.
It does do that. The whole neck does that, doesn't it? Yeah.
And most of the fighting in the streets feels kind of weird. My biggest problem in this movie, though, ultimately, is just...
If you say Danny DeVito, I'm going to punch you.
No.
Okay.
Not my biggest problem. No, my biggest problem in this movie, before I get to anything else that's a stylistic choice, is that kind of one of the things I said about the last one is that Batman has no arc. I feel that even more so in this one. He has no story. He's just kind of around. In fact, not only that, after he shows up to fight some bad guys in the opening, which I also have problems with, because you don't really see him actually save the day. He saves Selina Kyle from the one dude, after the car throws out some things to hit people, and then it just cuts to Gordon being like, "Oh, thanks for saving the day, Batman." And I'm like, it'd been nice to see that and feel like he's a hero. But yeah, there's no arc. After that scene, I was paying attention to the clock. I was curious when because I don't know what the runtime was at that point.
I think the next one's about half an hour.
35 minutes is the next time you see him, either as Bruce Wayne or Batman. It's when he's watching TV.
Yeah.
It just, this is the Penguin and Catwoman show.
For about 20 minutes at that point, solid.
Even after that, though, it still focuses more on them by far.
Absolutely. This is not Bruce's movie.
Yeah, and I feel like he doesn't have a real story. I mean, he gets attracted to Selina, and then feels conflicted about that, and then is upset that she's dead, or maybe dead at the end, and that's basically it. That's the entire thing, and on top of that, to go along with that, at no point in this movie do I feel that Batman is actually, as Gordon puts it, saving the day. Like, at no point am I like rooting, yeah, Batman showed up there at the last second. The most heroic thing he does in this movie is that he saves the children who are being kidnapped in the third act. And it's like a quick 5-second thing where he pulls the driver of the little stupid train thing out of the seat.
Yeah.
And that's it. It lasts like 5 seconds. And that is the only time where I went, no, that was just a downright, he saved the day. That was heroic. Everything else, it's just this coming in to fight people and, you know, strapping bombs to their chest and putting them down sewers and laughing.
Yeah. Is that maybe the most blatant Batman murder on screen?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. It depends on your, because I think in BVS when he's like just, you know, flipping cars into each other, like that feels more reckless to me, which I also hate. But
very reckless, and obviously is not too concerned if someone dies.
Yeah.
But this is, hey, here's a bomb. See ya.
Yes. Yes. Do you know what it is? Because one of the things that I think most people who are big Batman fans like about Batman is that he's quite smart and he plans for things. And I feel like in this movie he's constantly outwitted, like all the time. Like there's a scene when he first meets Catwoman.
To be fair,
yeah.
How do you plan for penguin bombers? No reasonable person has a plan for that.
Listen to my example though. Listen to this one. So he meets Catwoman and they fight for a little bit, and she kind of like distracts him at one point, saying, "You just hit me. I'm a woman." And he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, miss." And he leans down to pick her up, and then she hits him. And I'm like, how stupid is he? And then they fall on a ledge.
He's not stupid, he's just courteous.
No, right now he's being stupid. And then they fall on a ledge, and they have this quiet moment where she's like, "Oh, there's the man behind the bat," and she's feeling his chest and his abdomen, and she's like, "That's not really you." And her hand goes round, and all I could think was, yeah, she's like, "Oh, that's really you," because she feels the armor's thinner. She can like feel his actual, you know, his heat or his skin or whatever, right? And I thought, Bruce, buddy, this is a weak point. She has claws on her hands. Maybe question her intentions here. And then he gets stabbed like an idiot.
See, I agree with everything you just said.
Yes.
But I have so much fun watching this train wreck.
Oh my god, I hate it. I hate it so much.
How do you not have fun with this atrocious movie?
Christopher Walken I have some fun with.
How do you not have fun with Danny DeVito?
I guess at points I do. It's just, I hate what this verse. I hate that. No, he's actually like a mutated half kind of penguin person.
It's atrocious.
I hate this. I hate it.
I hate that too.
I hate that Christopher Walken actually lures him into a room with a fish. He unwraps a fish and dangles it in front of him so it'll come with him.
It's the penguin equivalent of, you know, when you do here's a $10 bill on the floor on a piece of string and you keep pulling it along, and you got the kid following the money. It's that, but with a fish.
Oh god! And for some reason, like Penguin's story in the middle turns into that he's horny as hell, and he's attracted to Catwoman. But it gets kind of completely dropped though after like that all ends up.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, it does.
After Batman like proves to the city that he's an asshole, it just kind of goes out the window. It doesn't really matter anymore. It's just an excuse to like make him want to work with Catwoman for a little bit. Is basically it.
Yeah, pretty much.
And that's the entire thing. Here's another thing I have a problem with, right? So early on in the film, we meet Selena and she's the assistant / secretary. She goes back and forth. It's like 5 times in this.
To be fair, I feel like in a lot of businesses at this point in time, they're just interchangeable words anyway.
Sure. But she's serving them coffee or whatever, and then she gets the little thing where she gets the taser from Batman. Well, not from Batman, but from the dude who was like attacking her.
Yeah.
And then she goes home, and we see that she's kind of lonely and pathetic. That's kind of her whole thing, right?
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Oh shit, I need to go back for that file because of that meeting with Bruce Wayne," and because she's left herself an answering machine message. And she goes back, and it almost immediately cuts to like nighttime at the office, right? And Christopher Walken's coming back in after meeting the Penguin.
Yeah.
And she's there looking at files, and he comes in. He's like working late, and it's like, yeah, you got that meeting. And I was like, and she's kind of nervous about the whole thing. Wait, that's a character at this point,
and she just carries like, yeah, I'm just looking at all the protected files.
Yeah, for some reason, instead of just saying, "Oh yeah, I was looking at the files to prepare for the meeting," she then follows up with, "Oh yeah, I also guessed your password and looked at your protected files and found out about all your shady dealings with this nuclear plant." And I'm like,
and drops it really casually, like, "Yeah, nothing's wrong with this."
and why are you telling me that you found this? Just pretend you never knew a thing, and at least if he finds out later, you're out the building and you can go do something about it.
But she doesn't. She doesn't even sound like she is going to do anything about it. She's just going, "Yeah, they were cool. Some interesting reading."
She's an idiot.
She is an idiot. Everyone in this movie is an idiot. That's why it's great.
She's an idiot, and she gets thrown out the building. And I'll buy that. Obviously, she goes through all.
In this case, thrown out the building literally, not by security.
Yeah, she's tossed out the window, or pushed out the window by Walken, and she goes through, what do you call those things? The tarp sort of like.
Yeah, canopies.
Canopies, there you go, canopy. She falls through like 5 of those though, and I'll buy to a point. I mean, I don't know how accurate this is, but I'll buy to a point that slows her fall enough that she's not dead, right?
Yeah, they're usually quite elasticy and springy, right? So they will, even if you go through it, it's gonna give some resistance.
Yeah,
before you do.
I don't know if it would actually save her, but I'll buy that in a movie logic, it slows her down enough that she doesn't die, right?
Sure.
Why do like 100 cats like come to like wake her up? Why does she have this natural like pull?
You say wake her up.
On feeling
Pretty sure
animals?
they bring her back to life. I'm fairly sure she was dead, and they're like, "Screw it, cats brought her back to life."
I refuse to believe that. If that was the intent, then Tim Burton's a bigger hack than I was giving him credit for.
The whole movie, she's like, "Screw it, I got 9 lives now." That was one.
I was taking that as a metaphor, not as literal.
I don't know. At the end, she's going, "Yeah, go on then, shoot me. I'm only on life 3."
She can take a few gunshots before dying.
I mean, she can, but she's, you know,
like,
I think she believes it.
Yeah, I mean, Catwoman, I suppose, has the biggest arc in the movie, and even then, I don't necessarily like it that much. Like, it's fine that she kind of loses her shit, and she's like, I'm done with being walked over. I'm going to be the one who like walks over everyone else now, right? And that's kind of how she becomes Catwoman. How she leaps to like putting on making a costume and like wrecking her apartment, and I mean, as for the next person to figure out, because I don't have an explanation for you.
Because cats.
But she also, that this movie propagates the horrible lie that cats should be drinking milk. That is entirely untrue. Most cats are actually lactose intolerant.
I don't care. Poison the cats with the milk.
Piss off. You can buy like milk for cats that's suited for them, but it's just the milk she's drinking as well, because she comes back and downs it herself at one point.
Oh yeah, because you've never done that.
What, down milk?
Yeah, just out of the car. Yeah, go on, screw it down the milk.
Yeah, of course I have. In fact, I almost always do it that way, just so I don't have to wash a glass.
Yeah, you are a lazy bastard. I have seen him bring in a carton of milk into the desk and just down it from there instead of pouring a glass.
Yeah, but I'm the only one drinking the milk, so it's not like it really matters. If I was sharing milk with other people, I'd maybe be a bit more considerate about it.
Yeah, it's different. But I mean, look, I'm not saying I don't do it.
I wasn't critiquing that she did that. I was critiquing that it's the same milk that she was giving the cats. That was you were misunderstanding the point I was making.
I wasn't. I just wanted to just give you some minor shit.
I don't care that I do that. It doesn't bother me that people know I do that.
Yeah, I know, but so Catwoman's boring, isn't she?
And she has a lot of really cheesy lines, which is just fine. Actually, one of the worst lines of this movie is actually Batman has Batman's not a guy who should be giving out cheesy one-liners, right? He should, at least not one.
I don't know about that.
Well, at one point he yeah, it was Batman. It was Batman who said it's after Penguin's kidnapped the beauty pageant lady who's going to do the lights, the Christmas tree lights.
Yes.
And she's tied up, and Batman comes in the room where she's tied up, and he says to like a henchman or whatever, because I think someone says something about being hungry or something like that, but he says eat floor, and then he like smacks him out of his head goes out of the floor. Is like good for your good fiber or something like that. He says something like eat floor, and then like, oh, it's good fiber, and I was just like, that was a horrible line. That was such a cheesy line.
I have no problem with Batman doing cheesy one line. If we're doing campy Batman, which we clearly are.
I don't like campy Batman though.
Yeah, but look, except that there is campy Batman and serious Batman, right? Right? Those are two separate entities at this point. You cannot like campy Batman. That is fine. But to say Batman as a whole shouldn't do one-liners, that is just wrong, because campy Batman should be doing one-liners.
Campy Batman should not exist.
You take that back. Campy Batman is fantastic. I can't wait till we do the 60s Batman.
Nuke campy Batman and wipe the site from orbit. It's the only way to be sure. Only way to be sure.
Just all I'm saying is, campy Batman's the best Batman.
Here's another thing that bugs me. So they've got like a backlot that's Gotham City, right? And it's like this one town square area with a couple of streets that go off the side of it. I feel like what?
I think it looks all right.
No, it looks fine for what it is. It does feel like a movie set as opposed to a real street, but it's fine. It's good enough. But my problem is that I feel like we come back and they use like different angles of it to try and convince us that it's somewhere else. But we come back to the same kind of town square place like 7 times in the movie.
We do,
which would be fine if it was just like we're going back to where the tree is for the tree. That's fine because it's meant to be the same location. But I feel like the first night Catwoman's out, she's at the store right next to where she worked. You know, like everything seems to be happening in the same little
I get that. I think this
square
is
of the city.
A lot, this is still in the let's build a lot in the studio era, right?
Yeah, but the last Batman movie didn't feel like that.
Not quite to this extent, but I mean, it had a few of those times that I felt that.
It had different locations. It had, had the museum had its own exterior and stuff, and
yeah,
it felt like there was different areas. This one I felt like there was just always the same area, and maybe that's a petty complaint, but it was just I was noticing. Because at first I thought, why is there so many giant cat heads in this city spinning around? And then I realised not every single one's been the same one.
That's what made you notice.
It was that, and then the light saying Shrek, I think, on the store. I kept noticing it in the background at different angles, so they were clearly filming a different part of it for a different thing.
Yeah.
But it was like, oh no, that I can see this shop over there. It's the same place.
It is. I guess the fact that it took you to notice specific details like that and then work backwards from there means they did an okay job for most people.
Sure. I mean, the giant red letters might have been a bad idea because it sticks out enough for me to go, hey, that's the same area again.
Yeah. No, it's true. I'm guessing in terms of recycling sets, I imagine most people probably don't feel it that much because, they're clearly doing a reasonable job of hiding it for the majority of the shot, barring, key instances like these signs.
You're going to notice it now, though, now that I've told you.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It was interesting, actually, in the UK growing up, this movie was always cut until a certain year.
Yeah.
Catwoman putting something in the microwave, I think it was like aerosol cans. It was like, oh, that's too dangerous. Kids can't see that. So that was cut out of the UK version for a long time. But
we couldn't be trusted.
Apparently not. But no, she's whipping guards. She's being very sexual with people she's saving.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing. Again, it's very over the top and campy. I'm just not a big fan of the whole thing, really.
Yeah. What are you gonna do, right?
Yeah, and Penguin's whole plot is like, I feel like Selina has her own plot up until a point, and then it becomes part of just the overall thing. But Penguin is kind of the main plot of the movie in the sense that everything kind of revolves around him. I mean, we open with his flashback, to when he was born. We have him coming out and kidnapping Shrek, and then coming out to the public and pretending to save the mayor's kids so that everyone will love him, and everyone will want to help him, and he'll be this new crown jewel of the city because everyone's like, oh, that Penguin character. He pretends not to know who his parents are so he can make a big deal about finding their graves and be like, I mean, he probably killed them. I don't know if the movie implied that at any point, but I'm going to assume that he killed them.
Yeah, I don't recall it implying that, but probably.
Yeah. Also, I get the justification that he ended up at a circus and that's why all of his cronies are circus people, but honestly, like, I'm just thinking, like, this feels like too jokery. Like, the fact that all of his henchmen are circus folk. Is that just me?
Um, I can understand that complaint. I mean, I do understand that one. I don't really
Yeah.
feel it because it was. I felt it was justified enough in the movie. Like, I'm not saying it's good, right? I'm saying
Yeah.
that it made enough sense to me in the context that was presented that I feel it's a bit unfair to complain at that specifically. When it, in this movie, yeah, they go, no, this guy's a freak. Here's all the other freaks, right?
I think in a vacuum it'd be fine, but because Batman's main villain's the Joker, and because we had the Joker in the last one, now admittedly he didn't have circus henchmen in the last one. He had like just goons.
Yeah.
But it feels more like a Joker. But some of the henchmen in this have like clown makeup on. I'm like, this is weird. It's made me think of the Joker, and I don't know if you want me to be doing
I get that. I get it.
This is the thing. Yeah, I hate this movie.
I love this movie.
It's got so many little things that add up, but at its core, I feel like it ignores Batman. I never feel like I'm rooting for him to actually save the day, like I should be. I don't think he has an arc. I don't think he learns anything about himself. I don't think he's proven himself to the city or anything like that. This movie has even less Gordon than I think a Batman movie should. Than the first one did.
See, all of this is fine, and I agree with it. But it's just not a Batman movie, is it? It's a Penguin and Catwoman movie, and by those standards, it's better.
This is not my favorite style of the Penguin by far, and it's not even really my favorite style of Catwoman by any reason. Actually, on Catwoman, Matt Reeves, who's directing Batman, the next Batman movie, if it ever happens, tweeted a photo of Catwoman today.
We should probably mention this, but we're recording this a little bit in advance. So
yes.
If there has been some sort of news recently, we didn't ignore that.
Yes, we're recording this in January, so just in case it's like, oh, this is old news now. There's been announcements of who's playing two and things like that. But he tweeted a photo of Catwoman, just from the comics, just an image of Catwoman with the goggles, that kind of thing. But then immediately deleted the tweet. But people caught it, and it's like, what did he put out there that Warner Brothers said? No, that's too soon. You can't tell them anything yet.
Yeah.
All it really implies is that Catwoman will be in the movie, but hey, we might get a good Catwoman in that movie. Although I like Dark Knight Rises Catwoman, admittedly. I like that one well enough.
Yeah, I think she's honestly, in a way, on par with this Catwoman in that neither of them are really Catwoman for me.
That's fair.
She's a better character. I'm not disputing that.
I think she feels. I think her relationship with Bruce in that movie feels a bit more Catwoman-y than this one does.
A little bit, yeah. Not by a huge amount, though.
And she's actually a thief in that movie.
She is. Hey, this one stole some protected files.
Before she was Catwoman.
Semantics.
At least in Dark Knight Rises, she's actually a thief, and she does have Holly. Like, it's smaller stuff, but it is there. Like, the stuff is kind of there.
Yeah, I'm not saying, I'm not in any way saying that this Catwoman is better than Dark Knight Rises. Okay.
Yeah, you better not, because
I'm not.
Because she ain't.
She's not. I'm just saying, as much as I love Dark Knight Rises, and we'll get there, I don't really feel like, that's Catwoman.
Sure, it's not like the pitch perfect. This is the comic book Catwoman that we all kind of think of, right? It's not her, but it's the same way there's differences with other things in those movies. But you feel that this is a conversation for when we get to those movies. So
we'll get there.
Coming soon. But yeah, she's got some really stupid lines. I hate see the first scene she's in costume where she saves the woman from the mugger. I hate how she like flips out of the scene just backflipping like the entire way.
Why would you hate that?
It's just stupid. It's such a stupid way of moving around.
You're just jealous because you can't do backflips like that.
I mean, you're right. I can't do backflips like that. I can't do backflips remotely in any way, shape, or form.
Look at that.
But I don't understand why Selena Kyle, who up until the previous night was a secretary, suddenly is capable of doing backflips all the way down an alley.
Because cat magic that brought her back to life clearly gave her some new acrobatic skills. I don't know why you have a problem with this.
It's just it just feels so cheesy to me, and I don't,
It's cheesy.
and not the right kind of cheesy, not the
It's
cheesy I like.
it's cheesy. It's hokey. It's absolutely stupid, and it's so much fun.
There's other DC characters where I like a little bit of cheese, where I feel like there's an inherent amount of cheese where with Superman or Flash or definitely like Shazam, Captain Marvel, like, I feel like those characters lend to having a certain amount of cheese, where it doesn't feel like it's betraying what the characters are, or it doesn't feel like it's lessening the weight of what the story is. This is even the first time, like you know, the Christmas list getting turned on and Walken's making his speech, and it cuts to like you know a POV shot of Penguin in the sewer grate, and he's like, "Oh, but you will." Oh, but you are. As he's looking at his watch, and it's just the music goes all evil, and I'm just like, this is like.
Do you know, I love when the baby's kidnapped, goes down the sewers, and then Penguin just rises up carrying the penguin, carrying the baby. Yeah.
Yes, and he's duck.
Yeah. He's not in the duck that time, is he? He just comes up on the little lift bit.
I thought he was in the duck. I didn't, the duck doesn't come out the sewer, but I thought the duck was what raised him up.
Oh yeah, it might be, but you don't see the duck from the top.
Yeah,
I don't think.
Yeah, I think he's in the duck though underneath it. He just steps out of it like when it gets.
Yeah, he might be, but I meant from the public point of view.
Yeah.
This man literally rises out of the sewer carrying the baby. I'm like, this is fantastic.
The fishman rises.
Oh, I love it. I wrote it like I said. You can list as many complaints as you want about this movie, but it all just comes down to two words: penguin bombers. That's all you need.
Not even much happens with them though. They immediately get the signal, they hack the signal and immediately just turn them around. Nothing happens with them.
But it's the sight of all these penguin bombers waddling through the streets of Gotham that is just amazing. That's worth the entire movie. And things like the little monkey delivering him the note from Batman.
I beg to differ.
Differ all you like.
Christopher Walken, being Christopher Walken, is usually entertaining, and I enjoy some of his line deliveries. Just because he has that pacing, you know, he has that Christopher Walken pacing.
That Christopher Walken thing, yeah. That everyone is just recognizably him.
Yeah, like when Selena shows back up alive and she's got the frizzier hair, and like it's when Bruce Wayne's there and he's like surprised to see her, and he's like, "Oh, you were in that ski. That's why you've cut your vacation short, because you ski holiday. You hurt yourself on the slope." And the scene goes on, and Selena here, the dialogue is terrible. She's being like, she keeps saying things like, "Oh, couldn't you just die?" But this really like weird tone. It's like, this would never pass for actual conversation. Everyone would assume you need therapy, the way she's walking around the scene talking.
I mean, she has got a giant gash on her head that, you know, maybe she's got a concussion.
Yeah, but it's when she leaves with Bruce Wayne, and like, you know, Walken's sons, there's like, "Oh, yeah, what about her?" It's like, she tries to blackmail me. I'll throw her out a bigger window. But for now, I've got bigger fish to fry. And it's just, you know, I can't do Walken's voice, but that was the pacing of the dialogue.
Yeah.
But that was gold. I'll give that. Walken's delivery of a lot of lines is pretty good. Everything else, you know, the finale of this movie is mainly Walken and Selena, because you know he's doing the horrible boss that tried to kill her, and she's getting her revenge essentially. Batman's just there. He's just an observer. He's not important in this scene.
It is. Like I said, it is Catwoman and Penguin's movie, and in essence, Walken is Catwoman's antagonist, and that's the arc, that's the story. It's not Batman's story; it's hers, and I'm okay with that personally.
I'd be okay with it if it was a good story.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying I don't hold that being the story against it. The execution is a different matter. But
then call it Catwoman.
Yeah, probably should have just been Catwoman, to be honest. It probably should have been called Catwoman. That's fine. But would we still have had penguin bombers if this was Catwoman?
That still fed into her plot. Sure.
Yeah, but would it have been given the budget to do penguin bombers?
Speaking of dumb moments with penguins, see when Penguin dies at the end and the penguins all come out en masse to carry him off into the water for his
Yeah,
funeral? Piss
yeah.
off.
No,
It's stupid.
delightful. I just love that there's these trained penguins being pallbearers. It's just fantastic. These are real penguins just doing this.
This is awful. Do you know what's funny? I was playing, not that long ago, I was playing the racetracks in Arkham Knight, the video game, and they added like tracks like based on these movies. And the tracks from these movies are actually really fun to play in that. Like the style of them actually works much better for a video game and presumably a comic book to a point.
I believe that.
But you know, but I came into this and I was like, no, I still hate everything as much as I ever did. More so even. More so.
That's fair.
Also, when Batman pulls out the gliding like wing, like where does that come from? Like he's got his regular cape on and it just cuts to him and this thing extends out.
It's called the utility belt. It has everything that you can never know that's there.
Oh, he's got that bag that Hermione's got in Harry Potter, the deep pocket. Yeah.
It's just that utility belt accesses hammer space, and it just does.
Bullshit.
But look, I started with a similar joke, but no seriousness. It's because Batman.
And even just like, because that whole thing sets up that he's trying to make everyone think that Batman killed that woman, right? To discredit Batman in the eyes of everyone. Because they set up this plot where Catwoman says to him, no, you can't just kill him, he'll be a martyr. You have to, like, kill his image and what he believes in. After this scene, that completely gets dropped. It's irrelevant for the rest of the movie. It's never brought up again. The only thing that happens is that Gordon, like, tells his men not to shoot, implying there'll be a plot where, he kind of believes that Batman didn't do this, and maybe that could be a plot thread. And Batman will have to clear his name. Nope. Never gets brought up again.
No, it doesn't.
It's never relevant. I mean, he proves that Penguin's a bad guy, but he never actually proves that he didn't have anything to do with the woman, or that Penguin did have something to do with it. None of that. Just...
Yeah. Oh, it's a mess of a script.
It's garbage.
Yeah, absolutely.
The whole thing's garbage. I hate it.
No. I can't argue. I agree with everything you've said. Like everything you said, for me, it crosses that line into enjoyable. Into like this is so inanely bad that I just get enjoyment out of it. It's one of those, I don't even need to be drunk to watch this. I'm not drunk now. I've had nothing tonight. And I'm just like, yes, I could watch this anytime.
No, I think Batman v Superman is worse than this, right? But oddly, I think the one thing this and Batman v Superman share is that the best actual character from the comics in this, who's the most accurate, is probably Alfred.
Yeah.
Got a little bit of sass, he's a little bit annoyed,
there's not a lot of Alfred in this, but yeah.
Yeah, whenever he pops up and makes a little comment, it kind of works.
It's like when Bruce and Selina are both rushing off.
Yeah.
Selina's like, make up a joke or a dirty limerick, and he's like, one just came to mind.
Yeah, even when he's he rips up the RSVP form because Bruce tells, no, I'm not going to that stupid party, and then like seconds later he's like, oh, but Selina might be there, and then Alfred just looks around at him like he wants to throw him off the cave.
Yeah,
because the Batcave in this has like these big like platforms and there's like nothing between them, which isn't unusual for a Batcave. But I thought, what about a little walkway? Just build a little ramp.
Batman don't need no walkways.
What about Alfred needs to get across like work in the car? He's an old man.
Alfred is a sprightly, nimble old fella. He's got no problems.
Alfred in this is pretty geriatric. He ain't no, mid-50s still capable of defending himself. Alfred, this is old man.
No, but he's kept in shape enough to do a little bit of jumping.
Okay, all right.
I can't read it. It is stupid. It's just it's standard design though, isn't it?
Alfred's going to jump that little crevice and then break his hip.
It's not a huge crevice. I'm sure Alfred can manage it.
Yeah, but his legs are old and fragile. He's going to break his hip and.
What I want a scene of him doing it carrying the tea.
Batman's going to be out in the night. He's not going to be back for hours. He's going to come back and Alfred's going to have frozen to death, lying there with his broken hip, unable to get help.
That probably is how this Alfred story ends.
you know what the sad part is Alfred's the only actor who's in like all 4 movies.
Yeah.
He's in Forever and Robin, which we'll get to soon. Those are coming. Those are coming.
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
Yeah. Do you know, this is one that, like, I watched the Batman movies obviously growing up as a kid, and I liked the first one as a kid. I don't like it that much now. This one I never really liked that much, even as a kid.
As a kid, you hated the whimsy of penguin bombers, didn't you?
It feels odd. Like, this is the weird thing though. I think as a kid I thought it felt too dour, and I still kind of feel that way. It's like it's really cheesy and stupid, but it's also got a really dour tone to go along with it.
Yeah.
Without any kind of like, where's the hope of Batman? Like, Batman usually brings some hope in most of his stories. None of that's here.
What is hopeful?
Shut up!
You want hope? Go watch a Superman movie.
You're just counterpointing me because you're.
I am. I really am. I'm just being an argumentative dick tonight.
I do not find much to like, unless you like Tim Burton's like style. I think his direction is actually not that great. I think how he shoots action is boring and crap, to be honest. Like, it's really basic and not that exciting to look at. Every time Batman's in a fight in this movie, which is not a lot, but when he is, it's just kind of not only is the costume making it look bad, but the actual filming of it just looks kind of weak. It feels like TV directing, but he just has a bigger budget to have all these fancy sets and, you know, cars and shit. That's what makes it look more expensive.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. No, I think his direction's fine. I think his vision, in terms of style in that sense, is pretty good.
That's what people like about him. I don't like his style though.
Yeah, I do personally. We'll say need to have some words with Mr. Elfman on this one, because I distinctly heard some Nightmare Before Christmas music being used in this.
This was before Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yes, but that theme, what became the main theme for that movie, is here. So, you know, I'm just saying, you know, not words necessarily.
You're giving me trouble for that movie, not this one, technically.
Well, yeah, but I'd never really noticed it as blatantly as I had today. Whereas, like, no, that's the exact same thing. Like, the phrase is identical. It's there.
It's when the camera's floating over like the frozen like park and at the start. I can
picture it comes in there.
Yeah, I can.
It's all the way through the movie. To be honest, it comes in a lot, but I'd never realized just how blatant it was. Where where he just took that and then extended it. And I'm like, Jesus, dude. And I knew you're a bit of a hack anyway, but come on.
I kind of like when Penguin bit the guy's nose off. I suppose that was okay.
And the cheesy one line leading up to it is, it's like, yeah, well, at least I've not got a bloody nose.
Well, I think I like that because that's Nia DeVito and Christopher Walken just being
doing
them.
The scenery.
Yeah, it's just being them. I forget that it's meant to be a Batman movie and just kind of enjoy the stupidity of the scene, but 95% of this I hate. Like, I hate it with a passion.
Yeah, see, when you say, oh, you can't forget that it's meant to be a Batman movie, that's your problem. If you just go, screw it, I'm watching this for the...
No, I'll still hate it. I'll still hate it, though. I still hate Tim Burton's style. I hate how it looks. I hate how it feels.
No, I think it's a bad Tim Burton movie, even, for the most part. But let's say, when Walker's just doing his thing, DeVito's just doing stupid shit. I'm like, I'm so into this, is in the worst possible way. I love it.
I wonder if you even cared about this one. I wonder if this was strictly a paycheck movie and you just kind of phoned it in.
I think, if I recall, this one he I believe cared about more than the last one.
Yeah, I think you're right actually, because he got more power with this one.
He got the control of the script over this one, didn't he? Whereas he didn't on the first.
No wonder it's worse. Jesus Christ!
Can't argue with that.
Goddamn Tim Burton.
It's much more Tim Burton than the first one is, and the first one's pretty Tim Burton.
Also, I love how the Batmobile has a planned mode to disregard like 40% of its size, just in case there's an alleyway narrow enough that it needs to be really thin.
And it caused like a 5 police car pileup. Is it that different though? to just dropping into the bat pod mode with the bike.
No, because that's two completely different vehicle types. That he's just lost that part of the Batmobile. That's gone forever. It's left behind with the police.
Look,
which, and before someone says, well, technically that's true with the tumblers, but well, yeah, because the tumbler was ruined. It was destroyed already.
Well, yeah, I was going to say. I mean, technically that's just left.
Yeah, but it didn't have to be. He leaves it there because it's already like ruined. It's been wrecked.
Well, these bits are just in pieces now. What are they going to do with them?
Yes, but this was like there was never a version of this where he could jettison those parts and not leave them behind wherever he was. Whereas the tumbler, if he wanted to just take the bat pod out for a night, he could just leave the tumbler in the cave and just take the pod out.
Yeah, theoretically, yeah.
Right? I understand the function of having the built-in bike section that can separate for later.
Yes. Well, this is the function of, well, if I'm going down a chase and I can't get through a gap, but hang on, there's a thin alleyway. Yeah, I imagine it's intentionally alleyway sized. No, this is if I'm on a road down the street.
No, see, I call bullshit in this. This alleyway is intentionally thinner than like you get alleyways that are really thin, but any alleyway that's even close to being big enough to drive a car down is intentionally big enough to drive a car down.
Well, this wasn't intentionally big enough to drive a car down. That was the point.
Yeah, but it was a really awkward size. I've never seen one this like. It's either really thin where you can't even really walk down the bloody thing. Right?
Right.
Or it's wide enough because it's intended for vehicles.
Okay, this is clearly an experience thing, because I've been down plenty of alleyways that are in that middle bit.
I don't know. This felt really specific to me. This felt specific just so that it'd be wide enough that his hot rod version of the Batmobile could fit down it, but not the regular cars.
I have been down. I have been down alleyways that are enough that a little moped can get down, but you would not get any sort of car down whatsoever. Because I've seen someone drive a moped down there while I was trying to walk through it. Pricks. So, personal experience, and I remember it because it made me angry. So, yeah, it happens.
I still call bullshit in this functionality.
I don't really defend it that much. I don't really care.
I'm still calling bullshit on it. It's just, I don't know. It just feels so orchestrated, like in a movie way, right? Like where we're going to do this, and it just
it's just a set piece.
Yeah, yes,
yeah, it is definitely. Which, to be fair, is like half of Tim Burton's style. Is let's go. Here's the set piece.
Yeah, I don't like any of his characters, and that includes in this. I don't care about anyone in this movie. No one's likable.
I disagree.
Who's likable?
Penguin is obviously very likable.
No, he's not. He's not likable. You may like watching him because he's hamming it up and he's being disgusting, but that doesn't make him likable.
He's not likable. I just wanted to see a reaction when I said that.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, that'll do it. I mean, because the Batsuit's pretty much this. I mean, it's a little bit different. Batmobile's a little bit different, but they're basically the same as the last movie. They're not different enough to really warrant any discussion.
Tweaks, right? But whatever. We'll talk about that next time.
Yeah, and it's kind of a Christmas movie, I guess.
Yeah, I'd say it is.
Set at Christmas.
It's as Christmassy as it gets.
It's no Die Hard though. I want to hear it.
No. Well, it's not. But I mean, it's Christmassy enough that sure.
Interesting though. The whole plot was Penguin was going to try and steal children from homes on what I think is supposed to be Christmas Eve. You could like really play that up and do like a whole "this is Batman on Christmas Eve trying to save kids." You could make a hell of a movie out of that. But no, instead we get this shite. We get this Penguin focused like jealous thing and Catwoman trying to kill her boss. Like shite, absolute shite. But that has been Batman Returns. We're wrapping this up here. It's time to call it a night, and we'll see you next time for Batman Forever. Joel Schumacher's coming in, guns a blazing.
Send in the penguins.
Now riddle me this.
That movie would be way better with penguin bombers.
I mean, I wouldn't like this movie anymore with no penguin bombers. It'd still be shit. So I mean. This one's breaking even either way. But yeah, we'll talk about Batman Forever next time. Do let us know what you think about it. I know a lot of people love this. A lot of people love Batman and Batman Returns.
Yeah. Do you want to do some ratings before we go?
As its fans, that's a good point. We should rate the movie. You're right.
You got so riled up that you were like, I don't even care about rating.
What are you rating it?
It's like a 3.5. It's the most enjoyable 3.5 I've ever watched, though.
I'm going with a 2.5, and it's a 2.5 because it is a professionally produced film. It feels like it has money spent on it. It has proper actors in it.
There's a budget. There's acting. There's sound.
Do you know why I go on a 2.5? Because I'm just giving it 0.5 more than Batman v Superman. Because Batman v Superman is even worse.
Oh yeah. See, here's the thing. Did this movie ever make you as angry as Batman v Superman?
If I'd seen it as an adult for the first time, maybe, but because it was something where I just gradually realised what I hated about it as I got older, it didn't really have that impact. It was just kind of a gradual, like, I kind of hate this, I kind of hate that, I really don't like this.
So,
but yeah, I know people love it. If you love Returns, you love Tim Burton, that's fine. Love what you want to love. I'm not going to give you shit for it, but I cannot stand these movies, especially this one. I think Returns is, until Batman v Superman, this was the one I hated the most.
Which is
a
relatively controversial opinion.
Yeah, I'm not saying it gets much better. I'm just saying I hated this one the most. So that is Batman Returns, and let us know what you think of it in the comments. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Of course, we're enjoying Batman month. Do check out our comic book podcast, Comics from the Multiverse, where we're talking about the comics, and specifically Detective Comics 1000. You can, of course, check out other movie reviews and stuff like that. We do a TV multiverse podcast, Television from the Multiverse, and we do some Batman related shows on there sometimes. Not right now, because all the regular superhero shows are on, but when they go off season, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's March, so maybe there's the odd break, and we'll be doing the occasional episode of Gotham
or Batman the Animated Series, which we're also
Batman the Animated Series
in the off season.
One of those things is good. One of those things is not.
This is true. So check out that, and otherwise though, like, subscribe, that helps us out a lot, as does getting us on patreon.com/MailFuzzTV, where you can support us for as little as $1 per month. The movie reviews you get a week early, so if you're on Patreon, you actually got the first one a week before March, so that they would all line up on YouTube.
Maybe even the first two.
Oh yeah, maybe the first two actually, yeah, because
if we get through the amount that we're hoping to get through,
there should be 2 a week, at least 3 out of the 4 weeks. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, possibly all 4 weeks. So, so do that. Also, just look out for the live show that we do every week now, or at least I do every week, which is on Mondays.
I really hope you've stopped doing it.
I'll still be doing it. It's a hit. People like it. Mondays is the sort of the earlier showing, the earlier version, which is at 3 p.m. Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific, which is 8 p.m. UK, and then there's a late one either Tuesday or Wednesday every week. It varies back and forth depending on when we're doing other stuff, but that's more like a 10 or 11 Eastern on a Tuesday or Thursday. So there's 2 of those a week. Come and chat with me and talk about nerdy shit and Batman. Batman month.
How wrong he is.
Sorry?
For not liking penguin bombers. Go and give him shit.
So no, that's everything. So thank you very much once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching movies, and always remember that I'm the goddamn Batman.